Hey y'all, it's Brianna. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I love to talk about juicing, health and wellness, skincare, etc, etc. So if you're interested in that, definitely stay tuned to my channel. Now today we're talking about green juice. You always see the girlies on the internet having a green juice, green smoothie, etc, etc. So today I'm gonna show you guys a green juice because I haven't made one in several months. And I have been craving one so bad, so I'm gonna show you guys a simple, easy, affordable green juice recipe that has so many benefits and nutrients for the body. So let's go ahead and get into it. I do have kale. Kale will not be for this recipe. This is actually for something that I'm gonna cook, so I'm gonna put this behind me here. It's just so easy for me to kind of like maneuver everything. But for this recipe, we are going to use a few Granny Smith apples or green apples, whatever you like. We're also going to need a nice little bunch of celery. And then we're also going to need some spinach. So those are the only three items that I'm gonna be using. If you want to add a little ginger for a little kick, feel free to do so as well. But let's go ahead and get into this prep. All right, so when it comes to juicing, I like to go ahead and try to prep all of my ingredients ahead of time. It just makes everything so simple, so easy. I'm using my Nama J2 juicer. You can actually put whole apples in there, but today I'm just gonna cut them up into fours because I don't want to make my juicer work too hard. I'm just gonna cut my apples into fours here. A lot of people ask me if I take out the seeds. Personally, I don't take out the seeds because my juicer is going to get rid of it for me. But I know there are a lot of people who get concerned about being poisoned by apple seeds, and I'll just tell you, you have to eat a lot of apple seeds for that to happen. So personally, I don't take it out. I just trust the juicer to extract whatever and then go from there, and I've been fine. But always do what's best for you and what's gonna work for you. Next ingredient that we're gonna go ahead and prep is our celery. So I went ahead and I washed my celery in the sink, but I really don't like these ends. They're really dirty looking, and no matter how much I scrub or soak, they just never get clean enough. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure I have those rough ends chopped off. I think they are off on most of my celery. And then I'm just going to do a rough chop. I have cut myself before, so I'll tell you, if you're doing this at home, be mindful of your fingers and try not to chop too much at one time unless you know you're a professional, you can really handle it. I've literally cut myself and don't want to go back down that road and get stitches, so this is how I'm doing it today. Also, the leaves can stay on your celery if that's what you prefer. I love to keep the leaves on my celery. There's extra nutrients, benefits, and I don't want to throw that away, so I love to keep that on. That looks a little brown. And I love to use those little very white pieces that are in the middle. Those can stay as well. So we're not getting rid of too much. We're being very useful of all of our ingredients here. Now, the most important thing that I will say when it comes to prepping your celery is just making sure that the pieces are small enough to fit in the juicer. I've heard some people complain and say that celery gets caught in the juicer. So the way that you prep it truly does matter in order to help prevent that. You don't have to use a knife. You can either break it, you can even break it in your hands. I used to do that as well. So whatever you do, just make sure that you cut it into like inch and a half, maybe 2-inch pieces, and it should be fine in your juicer. Lastly, we are going to prep our spinach. I know sometimes spinach can be a little controversial for some people. Some people don't like raw spinach, but raw spinach is my favorite way to consume, no matter if it's in a salad or in the juice. So I'm just gonna go through, pick out some of the leaves that look a little crusty in my opinion. Like this looks a little crusty on the end, so I'm gonna get rid of that. This is a really good one though, so I don't want to get rid of too much, but I'm just gonna kind of pick through. If anything looks wilted, I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of it. So it looks like I have pretty much everything. So my next step, and this is because I'm a little picky, I'm just going to trim a little bit of the ends off of the celery. Spinach, I mean. Because sometimes they get a little brown and I don't want that in my juice. So I'm just gonna go ahead and discard that over here. And then it is important also that you give yourself I don't know why I keep saying celery. It's very important that you give your spinach a nice chop as well. I'm doing like 1/2 inch because I don't want the celery to get, celery again, oh my gosh. I don't want my spinach to get caught in the juicer. So it's very important that you chop this up into small enough pieces. And so I've done it like this. They're in little ribbons. I think this is perfectly fine. And now that everything is prepped, it's time to go ahead and get into juicing. Okay, so like I said, I have my Nama J2 juicer here, so I'm gonna go ahead and use that. There is a larger hopper attachment, but I don't feel like switching that out right now and going through that process, even though it's super simple. I just want to kind of keep pushing with this because I juiced another recipe before here, so I just want to keep everything going, so that's what I'm gonna do. So here is an amazing juicing tip. Whenever you have softer ingredients like spinach or kale or anything like that, you want to make sure that you put that in first, and then from there you can put some of the harder produce on top of that. That's just going to help kind of push everything down naturally, and also help to extract some of the juice from some of that softer produce that might be harder to get a juice return from. So I'm gonna add in some of my celery, get that little piece too with the leaves, throw that in here. And then I also want to throw a few of my apples in on top here. Alright, I'm gonna close this and let the juicer get to work. So it looks like everything was juiced. That was literally 1 hopper of juice, and we got 16 ounces, which is enough for a whole glass. So I'm just gonna go ahead and let that strain. I do want to give it a little taste test, but I still have a lot of produce, so I'm just gonna keep winging it right now. I will say that if you are a beginner and you're new to making juicing recipes, I'm gonna take this off. It can be very, very beneficial for you to taste your juices as you go. That is going to help you so that you know what you need to add to your juices and your drink. So you'll know if you need to tweak anything, or if you need to add something to help it be a little bit sweeter so that you can drink it and it can adjust to your palate. There's a lot of good benefits from juicing, and also just kind of these methods that I'm telling you. They can be very, very helpful. So far I've only put like, I think 1 apple, so I'm gonna put the rest of this one in here because I do like my juices to be a little sweet, but it doesn't have to taste like Kool-Aid or something. So we have another batch that has finished, so I'm gonna go ahead and release the juice. And then we're just gonna do a little taste test. I don't really think this juice is gonna be sweet. and it might be very heavy on the celery taste, but I'm also used to drinking celery juice. So I'm just gonna give this a little taste and see if I want to add another apple. I actually have 2 apples that I have not even used yet, so. This is actually very good, very sweet for me. Because I have already cut this apple, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish. But if you're making this at home and you don't like your stuff super sweet, you can definitely make this recipe with just 2 apples and be perfectly fine. Final taste test. Absolutely perfect. All right guys, my camera died, but I'm back really quick to go ahead and finish off this video. So we made all of this juice. I just used my knife to stir it around because I do not like to waste extra dishes. And I have my cute little glass jars here, cups, whatever you want to call them. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill them up so that we can finish up this video. Y'all, I am so satisfied with this green juice, and I'm so happy that I decided to make this recipe. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and just do a quick little pour. Now, when it comes to your juices, you want to make sure that you drink them within 72 hours. And if you know that you cannot drink your juice within 72 hours, then you can put them in your freezer. If you do freeze them, then you definitely want to stop about here because you don't want the glass to crack or anything like that in the freezer. Now, these I've gotten from Amazon. The manufacturer, I don't think specified if they were 100% freezer safe or not, but I have tested them out. I have not gotten any cracks. Some people have said they've gotten some cracks, so do what you will with that information. But if you are interested in these, or if you have any more questions about bottling them up, storage, etc., just let me know. Now, I do not drink these juices like 3 a day or anything like that. I strictly drink 1 juice per day, and I'll do like a juice shot or something like that if I have any made. And that's just because I don't want to overload my body, because I also get nutrients in through my diet, of course. I get nutrients in through this as well. Sometimes I also drink electrolytes because I'm working out, so I never want to overdo it. I'm always trying to be cautious of what I'm putting into my body, because you can overdo it as well. But I think these are a great way if you are starting your health journey, if you want to consume more fruits, more veggies, if you just want to have good benefits for your skin, your gut health, your overall health, your immunity. These are excellent way to go ahead and start with that journey, and I hope that you guys try it out. This is it for this video. If you have any other questions, suggestions, make sure that you leave them down in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next video.